Testing, 1, 2, test. Okay, 3 against 2, 3 against 4. No sound. Testing. Can you hear me now? All right, there you go. Okay. Hey, what was your friend's name there, James? Because I got a new subscriber to my channel. Not a new subscriber. A new member. Was John what? Started with a G, his last name? All right, I'm a little early. A lot of work. Is this a better angle? Well, I got it to somebody else then. Okay, it's not a problem. Like I said, I'm a little early. Oh, really? Huh. I might need one for copyright, not infringements, just to get a copyright. It'll be nice to contact him. Halftime shuffle. We're not going to work on that. All right. 3 against 4. We could do this. There's so many variations like I did this afternoon, just a few. I'm putting another book together, but what I'm going to do is send out a basic sheet for 3 against 4 for tomorrow afternoon and tomorrow evening. And how to read it, and I'll give you a foolproof way of reading the notation. Like I said, you know, the triplet 1, 2, 3, or 1 and or 1 triplet, or 1 ta-ta. Whichever works good for you. Okay, I rather count for the subdivision reasons 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. And that gives me the chord. I'm going to play 1 against 3. I'm going to play the bass drum on 1, and I'm doing 3 on top. 1, 2, 3. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to open up the count. Instead of 1, 2, 3, I'm going to count 1 and 2 and 3 and 1. 1 and 2 and 3 and 1 and 2 and 3. So what you're hearing now, all right, the question is, how do you get Joe Morello's book? You go on Amazon, or I think maybe Hudson Music. Go on Amazon, Master Studies 1. That's the name of the book. Okay, what I'm giving you now is the 1 with the bass drum and the 3 with the snare. For example, I did way back an exercise, R becomes 3 rights, L becomes 3 lefts. So with the first sequence, right, left, I'd have 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Okay? If I did the whole line, 1. That's in triplets. All right. Paul, how you doing, Paul? We're doing polyrhythms tonight. 3 against 2, 3 against 4. Tomorrow night I might do a journey into 5 against 4, 2 against 5, 3 against 5, and 5 against 4. So we're just going to keep it simple tonight. 3 against 2, 3 against 4. So by me doing triplets, I'm counting the triplet, 1 and 2 and 3, and with subdivision, 1, 2, 3, 1, opening it up, 1 and 2 and 3. Now I play the 2, the eighth notes with the bass drum. Now I'm going to put the hi-hat on the first note of the triplet, which is going to give me 1 against 2 against 3. Do we understand that, or you want me to slow? And you know, everybody probably uses them. When you play something like this, it's a polyrhythm, but it's not labeled. It's just eighth notes on a hi-hat, heavy 2 and 4, a backbeat. But we all play polyrhythms. What I'm doing is breaking up. It's hard to write this stuff out because you have a line of eighth notes, and on the bottom you have a line of triplets. So that is 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. The bass drum is going to be on the 1 now of the triplet. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. That's 1 against 3. Now, I'm going to do this a little different. I'm going to use the stick control book. The first line, I'm going to make all the R's. They're going to become the bass drum. 1. John G. That's who. Hey, hello. How are you, John? Thank you for signing up. Appreciate it. We're going to be doing the lessons here until the first of the year because my site is going to be a little bit under construction. But thank you for signing up. And I'm going to give you my email. Email me. We'll talk a little bit, okay? In the meantime, what I want to do is get into the lesson for these guys. Everybody say hello to John. A new member. That's my email. You email me and we'll talk a little bit, okay? Now, you want me to slow it down? I will. I'll slow it way down. I'm going to go backward a little bit. I'm going to go to the triplet count. I get a little excited about this stuff. I get too overwhelmed, and I assume. Now, a good teacher should not assume, and you know, I apologize for that. So here's what we're going to do. What you have notation-wise is an eighth note triplet with one limb and an eighth notes with another limb for this particular exercise. So when I count, and the formula for 3 against, for example, 3 against 2 would be 3 times 2 would be 6 counts. So if I count 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, that's 6 counts. So now I'm going to need to get, if I count 1 and 2 and 3, and that's 6 counts. That's what I meant. So if I play the 3, say with my left hand, 1 and 2 and 3. It's every other note. What's every other count? 1 and 2 and 3. That gives me the 3. Now I want to do 2. So 2 times 3, 3 times 6, 6 beats. So I have 1 and 2 and 3. How do I get the 2 in there equal in the 6 counts? I'm going to play the 2 with my bass drum. Okay? You're at the 60. Well, don't put the metronome on yet. Okay? If you're going to play 60, play that as a triplet. 3, 1 and 2 and 3. 1 and 2 and 3. Now we get the 2 in there. It's every third count. 1 and 2 and 3. 1 and 2 and 3. That gives me 2 equal distant notes in the grouping of 6 counts. So if I do the left, all right, I'm going 1 and 2 and 3, and 1 and 2 and 3. And now I want to get the 2 in here with the bass drum. So I have 1 and 2 and 3, and 1 and 2 and 3, and 1, I'm sorry, hold up. 1 and 2 and 3, and 1 and 2 and 3. And we get that? I can do it with the right hand. I can go 1 and 2, 1 and 2 and 3, 1 and 2 and 3. That's 3 against 2. So what we're going to do is now we're going to use 3 voices. We're going to use the hi-hat, use the bass drum, and the snare drum. This time we're going to play the 3 on the hi-hat. 1 and 2 and 3. 1 and 2 and 3. 1 and 2 and 3. Okay. Now, we're going to play the grouping of 2, the 2s, between the bass drum and the snare drum. The R becomes the bass drum. I'm playing the first line of stick control book, and L equals L equals the snare drum. You have bass drum, 2 and 3 and 4 and. Let me put something on there. That's rattling too much. Let me see if this works. Hold on. Yeah, that's better. Still rattling. All right, anyway, we're going to do the 3 on the hi-hat. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. R becomes the bass drum. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. John, Paul, and James, do you understand that so far? Yes? No? So I'm actually playing the stick control book. All R's become the bass drum, all L's become the snare drum. So I'm playing 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and against the triplet. Maybe you'll understand it a little clearer if I did line 3. Without the 3 first, it would be 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and I'm going to play it against the triplet. So I have 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. You hear the 3 against 2. Let's do the paradiddle between the bass drum and the snare drum. We're going to have 1, 2, and 3, 1, 2, and 3, 1, 2, and 3. Without me counting that, just 1, 2, 3, 4, and against the 8th note triplet. 1, 2, and 3. That's 3 against 2. It's simple. And that's one variation. What I like to do is consolidate your practice time. If you're doing full strokes, for example, on a drum pad, I'm going to do it on a snare drum, and you're going to play the first line. What do we got here? Yeah, well, I moved the camera from request, so you can see my... What I could do, let me put the other angle on. Hold on. I'm going to get the camera angles just to where I want them. Let's see. Let me see if I can get this over here. Hold on. Where'd it go? No, I don't want that. Hold on. What did I do? Oh, this shit sucks. Hold on, guys. I can't see that far. Now, we'll just leave it at this angle. What happened? Let me go over there. Hold on, guys. Oh, mercy. Hold on 1 second. Okay, Bounce, where did you go? I'm going to keep this angle for the rest of the lesson. All right, it's fine. No problem. So we're going to work with this way. I will readjust the cameras after the lesson and do some testing. I just need an AV guy is what I need. Anyway, where my stick? All right. So now we're doing 3 against the 2. What I like to do is the 3 on the bottom. So I have 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to play the top full strokes as the stick control book, the line. So now I have 1, 2, and 3. 1. If I did line 3, it'd be right, right, left, left against the 3. I'd have 1, up tempo a little bit. Sorry. Here's the 3 down. So you're consolidating the practice. All right? So you're doing the top as a stick control book, and yet you're putting a triplet in there. Now, I have all kinds. Hey, John G., do you understand this so far? If not, speak up. We need to talk a little bit about, how long you've been playing and what it is that you'd like to learn. I'm open for a tremendous amount of suggestions. It's a lot easier when you gentlemen get into the chat and say, yo, Matt, help. All right, 3 against 4. That's going to be enough with the 3 against 2 for now. We're going to go with 3 against 4. That means I'm playing triplets, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and or I'm playing 16ths with another limb. 1 E and a 2 E and a. So now how do we divide that so it falls nice? So again, here comes the formula. And there's a couple different options to do 3 against 4 because it's actually 6. It's actually going to be, all right, 3 against 4 is 12 counts. 3 times 4 is 12. So we're going to do the quarter note, but we're going to count 1 E and the 2 E and the 3 E and the. That's the triplet. So inside of the 1 E and the 2 E and the 3 E and the, you have 12 counts. So I have 1 E and the 2 E and the 3 E and the. That's my 3. I'm going to put my bass drum on the 1. 1 E and the 2 E and the 3 E and 2, 3. 1 E and the 2 E and the 3 E and 1 E and the 2 E and the 3. Left hand. 1 E and the 2 E and the 3. Now how do we get the 4 going? All right, now we have, that was every 4th beat I got the 3. So now we're going to do every 3rd count is going to give me the 4th. 3 into 12 is 4. So I have 1 E and the 2 E and the 3 E and the. I have these PDFs complete. I should have sent them to you. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to play 3 on the top and 4 with the bass drum. 1 E and the 2 E and the 3 E and. So we have 1 E and the 2 E and the 3 E and the E and the 2 E, 3. Now we're going to do it between the left hand. Well, no, we're going to do the triplets with the bass drum. All right. Yeah, I know. You see, let me explain something. That's a good statement. I want to talk about that. To see it is actually easier to play it, without a doubt. If you notice in some of these methodology books, most of it's not written out. It should be mental. Okay? So you envision it in your mind. But yeah, when you see it visibly, it does make it a lot easier. It's graphics. So, John, if you email me, I'll send you the PDFs. I'll put you on the mailing list, tell you what's going on, the time of the lessons, and so on and so forth. I'm going to give you the 3 against 2, and I'm going to give you the 3 against 4. But this is part of the workbook that I'm putting together. I've been working on it all day, but that's not a problem. Okay, I'll send you the sheet so we can work on it a lot easier tomorrow. You have to understand how the figure falls, because I'm thinking 1 E and the 2 E and the 3 E and that's actually 3, 4. I break up the triplet. 1 E and the 2, I'm playing the triplet as 1 E and the 2 E and the 3. 1 E and the 2 E and the 3. 1 E and the 2 E and the 3. 1 E and the 2 E and the 3. Okay? Now, the triplet is being played with the bass drum. 1 E and the 2 E and the 3 E and the 1 E, the 2 E and the 3 E. A little faster. You hear it in there, guys? All right, now what we're going to do, we're going to play the 4 on top. We're going to do the stick control book, line 1, against the 8th note triplet with the bass drum. So we're going to have 1 E and the 2 E and the 3 E and. Now we're going to do line 3. Here you go. so on and so forth. I'm going to write it. I'm better off writing it out. I'm going to send it to you guys. John G., please email me. I will send you all the PDFs. Yeah, well, that's to play 3 against 4 up tempo. You know, 1, 2, 3. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Here's what I'm going to do. You can hear this a lot differently. When I play 3, 1, 2, 3, I'm establishing the 1. 1, 2, 3. So I'm going to use the bass drum and the snare drum. The bass drum is going to be on a count of 1. It's a quarter note and a triplet. Now I'm going to add my hi-hat as a 2. So we did a 3 against 2, if you remember. And I'm going to put the 4 on the floor tom-tom. All right, let me put something on there. Yeah, that's right. I'm going to put the floor. It's actually what I'm doing is line 1 of Master Studies in Joe Morello's book. That's the bass drum. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Then I'm doing line 3 rather, with the hi-hat. 1, 2, 3. And I'm doing 3 with the snare drum. And I'm going to do 4 with the floor tom-tom. So what I did there is I played quarter notes, eighth notes, eighth note triplets, and 16th notes. Did you guys hear that? You know, played at an up tempo. These are difficult. You know, I'm not Superman. There's all kinds of combinations to do. That's 3 against 4. I'm going to write this out. I'm going to send it to everybody that's here tonight. There's 9 people here. So there's James, Paul, and myself. That's James, me, and Paul. That's and John. That's 4 people. There's an additional 4 people watching this video that are not saying anything in the chat. I invite people to come here to do this and ask questions. Por favor. The questions help me help you. And it makes me understand I should slow it down somewhat or play it a little bit faster. Great way to lose a gig. You're absolutely correct. We're not playing this to the music, Alan. That's Alan Herman just entered it. We're not playing this for a gig. We're controlling our limbs. We're doing polyrhythms. 3 against 4, against 2, against 1. It's actually the table of time. Line 1, line 3, line 4, and line 5. And I'm just explaining polyrhythms. And we play polyrhythms all the time. Maybe not 3 against 4, 5 against 2, or whatever. But I'm developing some sense of coordination and control. That is the objective. Do you agree with that one, Mr. Al? Anyway, Alan and I, and another two former students of of Joe Morello, we're trying to do a roundtable discussion panel with Alan Herman's Out of the Box CD. Another guy, he wrote the Jeffrey Johnson. He wrote the level system, and Mr. Foster. And we're going to sit down and talk about Joe Morello, about the level system, about Mr. Forrester, Steve Forrester's new book, and the terminology of out of the box, I was there, as a matter of fact, when that was being recorded, and Al did a hell of a job. But anyway, I'm just, this is something we don't play. It's just a developing control of your limbs, command of your limbs. If you could do these polyrhythm things, you could basically almost play anything. And I don't know if you agree with that, chick. Oh, thank you for the compliment. Okay. Anyway, I think that I have the three of us committed to this. The date is not set up. I have Steve Forrester, Alan, and myself. I'm waiting on on Jeffrey Johnson. He'll be willing to do this. And this is all former students of Joe Morello and authors. Okay? And these guys are pretty heavy duty. Except for me, I'm just an AV guy. But anyway, it should be very interesting. We're going to talk about how Joe Morello opened up all these doors for us, what journey he has taken us musically, technically, and as a human being. And I think it's going to be one hell of a show. I need that fourth guy. If I don't hear from him within the week, I'm going to find someone else. And we're almost at 100,000 members of the Art of Drumming groups. When we reach that plateau of 100,000 members, okay, what I'm going to do is we're going to set up something where it's going to be a Saturday and Sunday drum intensive. I'm going to have drummers come and do clinics. We're going to celebrate the 100,000 members. We're going to talk about a lot of different things, have a grand old time. And I already have the hall set up. And Alan definitely is going to come. Myself. I know that Steve would come, Steve Forrester, and hopefully Jeffrey Johnson and Mike Clark, Mark Walker, Daniel Glass, and perhaps even Bernard. So we'll see what happens. I think it'll be one hell of a day. Where'd everybody go? Everybody left? Okay. Now, I don't want to go too much into this until I write it out for you. So I'm going to send you about 2 or 3 sheets, maybe 4. But don't forget, now this is part of the workbook, the Live On Lessons workbook, part 2. Now, part 2 is going to have a polyrhythmic section and a variety of ways to utilize the stick control book using polyrhythms, all right, with the drum set application. Also, it's going to have linear concepts and formulas, substitutions, and eliminations, and jazz patterns. So that's going to take me a while, at least 2 months, to do another 175 pages or whatever. So that would be workbook number 2. All right, now, I'm not going to cut the lesson short because I'm going to ask, is there any questions? And I know that Alan has been an asset to me with my drumming and with me as a human being. Me, I was the little tough guy or, whatever, and go for the jugular vein, and Alan kind of calmed it down for me. Alan's a good human being, very knowledgeable, extremely good drummer, and experienced, and he knows how to deal with people. If he could deal with me, he could deal with anybody. Now, how's that sound, Alan? You helped me out a lot. Okay, any questions? I know there's a delay, and there's nothing I can do about a delay. There's about a 5-second delay. And that is because of the internet, not because of my equipment. Everybody who streams live. What's confusing for you, Al? No problem, John. We'll get together. We'll talk on the email. If you could even call me if you'd like, and we'll talk. What is all too confusing for you, Al? Getting along with people, like you taught me how to do that, or I know it's not playing drums. Alan's a very beautiful musician, trust me. All right. No questions? No problem. Last call for questions. And thank you, John G. I definitely will be in contact with you within the next, uh, within a day, because I'm really backed up here. But I will contact you, as soon as I can. We'll talk. Now, tomorrow I will be back at 1 p.m. And I'm going to have the PDFs on the 3 against 2 and the 3 against 4. We'll do that again tomorrow. Tomorrow is Tuesday. Then Wednesday and Thursday we'll work out of the workbook. So pick out one of the simple ostinato patterns you'd like to work on. Well, Alan doesn't have to pay me for kind words. If you ever met Alan, you would understand what I'm saying. I'm not promoting Alan. I'm just being honest. And by me being honest, I guess that's promoting him. I don't know. But Alan's a special human being. Trust me. He could deal with me. You never see me play a solo. All right, well, I'm not in the mood to play one now, but I will. Now, soloing is a whole different thing. You could have a structured solo. You could have an open solo. Which one would you rather hear? A structured solo or an open solo? Well, yeah. Well, I'll tell you what. Joe Morello's technique is master studies. And, I mean, if you sat with Joe Morello and you've known him as long as Alan and I have, like 30 plus years, and also Steve Forrester. I mean, sit there on and off taking lessons with this guy for 30 years. The guy's an amazing human being as well. I know, we're all wild. Joe. Open. Okay. I'm not going to play that now. Here's what I'm going to do. By the end of the week, if I have a chance, I will make a video. And of me just soloing open. I won't play any structured solo. All right. And what I'll do is I'll upload it to YouTube and I'll send it to email if you'd like. But it's killing like a couple birds with one stone when I do something like that. What am I going to solo? I mean, I sit down at my drum set and I have a conversation with my drum set. I'm not trying to prove anything. I'm not trying to say this is the fastest drum solo in the world. All that is total nonsense. I'm going to make a statement if I can, and I'll have a conversation with my drums, and they'll have a conversation with me back. And I don't know where that might lead. All right, so let me see what I can do, and I will have it within, hopefully by the end of the week. But Alan, we'll talk later, okay? James, I'm sorry I didn't call. And John, I'm going to send you my phone number if you want to call me. Right now, I just need to go after the lesson and pick up my daughter. At her basketball practice. Anyway, yeah, I love watching drummers too, but the drummers that are on these groups, I mean, they're trying to play the fastest in the world. They just make noise and they don't have any musicality whatsoever. I'm trying to figure it out. You take Morello, he was very musical and very rhythmic and very fast and clean. You take Elvin Jones. I never forget the first time I saw Elvin Jones live. I believe that was at where's the place in New York? The Bottom Line. And he was there with his quintet. And I looked at him, and this guy has hands. I shook his hand, and my hand got lost. He swallowed my hand. He was a big man. And I watched him play. I said, man, this guy has no technique. And then I turned around, and I ordered a drink, and I started listening to the band with him playing it. This man plays out there, man. He was great. I seen Steve Gadd at the bottom line. I seen Morello. I seen Mike Clark and a few other places, Smalls and Gullivers and Patterson. Well, we'll get you to. I'll talk to you later about that, John. I just need to get offline now because I really need to pick up my daughter. Okay, I'm sure that you can understand. And I will be back to you. I'll email you my phone number. If you'd like to call, email me your phone number. I'll call you. What would be your best time? Where's your location? So on and so forth. I mean, if you live in South America, in Brazil, I'm not going to call you now. I have 2 left, and I'll send you the one. The workbooks are $30, which if you're in the United States, which includes shipping. Okay, and it'll take you about 2-3 days to get it. So we'll talk about that when we're on the phone. Okay. Now I'm going to put a couple more workbooks together, like I said before, and I can't wait to Alan. I can't wait till Alan comes back from China because right now Alan is in China. And he said he'll be back maybe sometime in February, I believe. Was that right, Al? And he's going to spend a couple days here. And he's going to do some live broadcasts. And we're going to fight like husband and wife. That's where I learn a lot from Alan. Is pissing him off. I think. Alan's just a good person. Okay, guys, I need to shut off. All right? No more questions. John, I'll be in touch with you soon. All right. And James, I'll call you. Maybe I should buy. Maybe I should up the price, James. I'm not trying to kill nobody with money. It's 175 pages, 177 pages in that area. It's a lot too. We're going to be doing a lot of work. All it is ostinato patterns and some coordination exercises. Workbook 2 is going to be quite involved. So I'm going to put that together and I'll send it to somebody. Okay? You too, Paul. I hope that I'm helping you out, Paul. You've been here almost like since inception for 2-3 years now. I really appreciate that, Paul. And where's my video? Next comes B there, Joe. A, B. Or AABA. Depends on what tune you're doing. Okay, guys. Have a great night. I'll see everyone tomorrow, whoever would like to attend the 1 p.m. lesson. And I will have those sheets to you, hopefully by tomorrow. Well, I don't know about that, Joe. I need Alan. Believe me, with Alan's approach and his explanations and his scientific laws of physics, how he approaches that with the stick control book and what he's learned from Joe and his application when he plays, you'll see. We're going to have a hell of a couple meetings here when he gets here, and hopefully with Steve and myself and Jeffrey. Okay, guys, I need to get off. Have a good night. See everybody tomorrow.